Today we discuss three parables, which continue the theme of separation between Judaism and Christianity. Since these parables are recorded across all three synoptic gospels, they are considered foundational. In our previous video, the friends of the bridegroom revealed that there were differences in Jesus' ministry and the role of the Jewish religious leaders. Yet, it did not spell out why Jesus was not honoring Jewish traditions. One had to examine the context in which it was said to understand its basis. With these parables, things are about to be spelled out.
No one puts a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch pulls away from the garment, and the tear is made worse.
To illustrate the distinction between the coming kingdom Jesus was ushering in and that of Judaism even further, Jesus likened an old garment to Judaism and a new piece of cloth to his ministry, which later became known as Christianity. Just as nobody places a brand new unshrunk cloth on old clothing, Jesus was emphasizing that he did not come to fix errors in Judaism caused by years of self-imposed regulations. Simply through this illustration, it would only take time and a few washes for the new patch to shrink and tear away from the old garment. The result is that the garment would be in a worse condition after the attempted repair. The Pharisees would have understood that Jesus was referring to their laws and traditions as the old cloth and his ministry as the new clothing. It is worth noting that Jesus was not referring to the law of Moses, but was rather referring to their superficial rituals and ceremonies that they had added to the law of Moses. With this statement, Jesus was making no attempt in following superficial customs or fixing the legalism which they had implanted into Judaism. Jesus had now officially revealed that he was doing something new and different, and was not seeking to fix the flaws and errors which over the years had embedded into both the Jewish religion and culture.
A fairly simple parable, but it is emphasized by Jesus and is continued immediately with another illustration. With this follow-up story, it eliminates any fanciful interpretations. It is the parable of the wineskins.
Nor do they put new wine into old wineskins, or else the wineskins break, the wine is spilled, and the wineskins are ruined. But they put new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved.
In his second analogy, Jesus drove the message home to his accusers. It was common practice in that time, with the making of wine, that wine would be placed inside animal skins, which were often goat skins. As the fermentation process began, the new wineskins would expand as the gases were released. Now, nobody ever placed freshly squeezed grapes into old wineskins, as the skins were already stretched, and the fermentation process would result in the skin bursting, destroying all the wine in the process. In both instances, Jesus was describing the incompatibility of Judaism with his ministry in declaring that the kingdom of God had come. While we certainly have the benefit of hindsight to truly understand the implications of these parables, in all likelihood the religious Jew was left dumbfounded, understanding only perhaps a portion of what he had said. Unlike the Pharisees, Jesus had not come to add or change the law of Moses in any way or form, but rather was indicating a brand new dispensation emerging with his ministry. In answering the question posed by the Pharisees concerning fasting, there is a contrast between the joy and the sorrow of two opposing systems. Jesus was not looking to change or add the religious Jewish system, and yet it becomes evident that they felt threatened. The Jewish system had simply reached its limits, and they could not be stretched any further. His message concerning the incompatibility between the Old Covenant and the New Covenant only galvanized them in their attempts to silence Jesus. Interestingly, for this parable, Luke adds,
And no one, having drunk old wine, immediately desires new, for he says, the old is better.
So with this statement, Luke emphasized that man is reluctant to change his ways. Although many Jews would become the first Christians, many rejected the teachings of Jesus. Later, Paul, himself a Jew, revealed in the book of Romans that law and grace are opposing principles. In effect, Paul was expanding on Jesus' reply to the Pharisees: they cannot be combined. The Old Testament provided for the law, the rise, consequence, and punishment for sin, the prophets, and the history of Judaism. The New Testament provides the solution, with God's grace being extended first to the Jewish race, then to the entire world.